There are moments in life when a quiet voice inside warns us, redirects us, or even pulls us back from relationships that may not be part of our destiny. Tonight, we're going to open our eyes to the subtle yet powerful ways divine wisdom moves to protect your purpose. Pay attention. Your future may depend on it. There's a quiet voice, a gentle stirring that often rises up inside you, trying to get your attention. It doesn't shout, it doesn't scream, but it speaks with a weight you can't ignore. It's the whisper of discernment, that small, still voice that says, "Something isn't right here." Have you ever felt it? Have you ever been in a room, smiling, laughing, playing the part, but deep down something inside you was unsettled? You couldn't put your finger on it, but you just knew that something was off. That whisper isn't random, it's not coincidence, it's not just a gut feeling, it's divine wisdom trying to guide you. Many people miss it because they expect a flashing light, a bold sign, or a dramatic encounter, but true protection often starts quietly, almost silently. It's in the whisper that says, "Pause before you proceed," or "Take a closer look before you trust." You see, when someone is wrong for your life, wrong for your destiny, the whisper becomes your first line of defense. It's subtle, but it's powerful. You'll notice it when you meet someone, and instead of peace, there's a tension you can't explain. You'll notice it when you start sharing your dreams, and instead of encouragement, there's a hidden jealousy that flickers for just a moment. You'll notice it when you reveal your heart, and somehow their response feels a little too calculated, a little too rehearsed. And the problem is, if you ignore that whisper, if you silence it with your own reasoning or emotions, you open the door for confusion, heartbreak, and wasted time. Too many people have paid the price of ignoring the whisper, telling themselves, "Maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe I'm just being too sensitive." But the whisper of discernment is a gift, a divine alarm system built into your spirit. The moment you start to recognize that whisper, respect it, honor it, you begin to walk in a level of protection most people never experience. You don't need to argue with it. You don't need to analyze it to death. You simply need to listen and move accordingly. Protection starts with perception. It starts with paying attention to the little signals, the quiet warnings, the gut nudges that you cannot afford to ignore. Because that whisper is not just trying to keep you comfortable, it's trying to keep you alive. It's trying to keep you aligned with your assignment, your destiny. Now, you might be asking yourself, what happens if I hear the whisper, but the doors still slam shut in my face? Well, you better get ready, because the next sign is when a closed door becomes your greatest protection. Let's talk about it. Sometimes the greatest blessing you'll ever receive is a door that closes in your face. I know it doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't make sense at first. But listen carefully. When a door shuts, when an opportunity dries up, when a relationship crumbles, no matter how hard you try to hold it together, it may not be a failure. It may be divine protection at work. How many times have you cried over something that didn't work out, only to look back months or even years later and say, "Thank God, that didn't happen"? You see, when a door closes, it's not always about rejection. It's about redirection. It's about a higher vision for your life that you couldn't see at the time. You thought you needed that person. You thought you needed that opportunity. You thought you needed that relationship to validate your work. But the truth is, you were being protected from something that could have cost you your peace, your purpose, even your future. Closed doors are not curses. They are clues. Clues that there's a detour being set up, a better path being carved out. And the faster you stop trying to force open what's already been shut, the faster you step into what's actually meant for you. Sometimes the person you wanted to stay in your life was only supposed to teach you one lesson. Sometimes the job you prayed would last forever was only a stepping stone, not your destination. Sometimes the silence you hear after being ghosted, rejected, or ignored is the sound of your destiny being protected. It's so tempting to bang on closed doors, to try to fix what's breaking, to chase what's walking away, but when you do that, you're fighting against your own protection. You're exhausting yourself trying to revive what was never meant to live. And while you're busy banging on that door, you're missing the open doors that are quietly waiting for you down the hall. Closed doors hurt. They confuse us. They challenge our pride. But what if I told you that every no you're crying over today is setting you up for a yes that fits your life, your future, your purpose? What if the people who left were supposed to leave? What if the deal that fell through would have shackled you instead of blessed you? The key is learning to trust the closure. Trust that if it shut for a reason. Trust that if it ended for a purpose greater than your comfort zone. Trust that rejection is not the end of your story, it's the start of your real assignment. Now, some of you might be saying, I've seen doors close, but what about when everything around me just feels restless, unsettled, uneasy, even when I can't explain why? Good, because that restless feeling is another major sign you can't afford to miss. Let's dive into it. There's a moment in every life when things look good on the outside, when people seem right on the surface, but deep inside, something just feels off. You can't explain it, you can't fully articulate it, but there's a restlessness, an uneasiness, a stirring that refuses to be ignored. That, my friend, is not by accident. That is a divine alarm going off in your spirit, trying to protect you before damage is done. You ever been around someone and no matter how hard you tried to convince yourself, you just couldn't settle your spirit? You laughed, you smiled, you nodded, but underneath it all, your soul kept shifting. You left their presence more drained than you came. You left their words feeling more confused than clear. You left their promises feeling more trapped than free. Restlessness is a sign. It's a signal that something or someone is not aligned with where you're supposed to be. It doesn't always come with evidence. It doesn't always come with proof. But the absence of peace is the proof. You don't need a scandal to validate it. You don't need an argument to explain it. If your spirit is restless, that's reason enough to pause, to step back and to reassess. Too many times we override that feeling. We call it nerves. We call it fear. We call it overthinking. But what if it's not? What if it's your destiny trying to wave a red flag before you walk into a trap you can't see yet? What if it's your future trying to guard you against a disappointment you're not strong enough to handle right now? Restlessness is divine resistance. It's heaven's way of saying, this is not your place. This is not your people. This is not your path. And when you ignore it, when you push through it just to please people, just to fit in, just to make something work, you will always pay a price later. Restlessness today saves you from regret tomorrow. Sometimes you don't have to fight a battle to lose. Sometimes you lose simply by staying where you're not supposed to be, staying in the wrong environment, connected to the wrong people, tied to the wrong opportunities, will wear you down, dry you up and drain you from the inside out. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose peace. You don't owe anyone a debate about why you step back. When your spirit is restless, that's more than enough reason to shift. Don't wait for a disaster to confirm what your heart already knows. Trust the uneasiness. Trust the whisper that says, it's time to move. And if you think the restlessness is strong, wait until you experience the next sign, when your peace gets completely disrupted, and you can't shake it no matter what you do. Let's lean into it. There's a level beyond restlessness, and it's when your peace is completely disrupted. I'm talking about that deep, unshakable feeling, when no matter how much you try to justify it, no matter how much you tell yourself it's all in your head, the peace you once had is gone, and no matter what you do, you can't get it back. You see, peace is a gift. It's not something you create. It's something you recognize. When you're connected to the right people, when you're standing in the right place, when you're walking in the right season, peace flows naturally. But when you're connected to the wrong person, when you're trying to force something that's not for you, peace becomes a struggle, a fight, a battle inside your own soul. Have you ever been there? You start questioning yourself. You start overthinking every move. You can't sleep like you used to. You can't focus like you used to. Your mind races. Your heart feels heavy, and your spirit feels burdened. That's not just anxiety. That's not just stress. That's a sign. That's a divine disruption trying to get your attention. You try to pray it away. You try to distract yourself. You try to reason yourself back into comfort. But no matter what you do, the discomfort stays. That's because peace can't exist where purpose is being threatened. Peace can't stay where danger is present. Peace can't survive where your destiny is being compromised. Sometimes the disruption of peace is not about punishment, it's about protection. It's your future sending a warning. It's your assignment sounding the alarm. It's your calling pulling you back from a relationship, a business deal, a friendship, a decision that could derail everything you were born to do. When peace is disrupted, it's time to pay attention. It's not time to ignore it. It's not time to pretend. It's not time to numb yourself with distractions. It's time to be honest, brutally honest about what's shifting inside you. Because here's the truth. When God, when life, when destiny, whatever you want to call it, when it starts to protect you, it doesn't ask for your permission. It just starts moving things. It starts shaking things. It starts unsettling everything you thought was stable. And if you're wise, you won't fight it. You'll flow with it. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's survival. It's strategy. It's preparation for where you're about to go. You cannot afford to drag broken pieces, broken people, or broken promises into your future. You must learn to recognize the gift of disrupted peace before it costs you more than you ever intended to pay. Now maybe you're saying, but what if I'm not sure? What if I need more than just feelings to understand who's really for me and who's not? Good question, because the next sign is when hidden motives start to rise to the surface. Whether you're ready for them or not, let's go deeper. One of the clearest ways you'll know you're being protected is when hidden motives start to rise to the surface. Oh, it won't always happen dramatically. It won't always happen in a way you expect, but little by little, cracks start to show, masks start to slip, words start to reveal what actions tried to hide. You ever had someone around you who seemed perfect at first, seemed supportive, seemed loyal, seemed genuine, but then a little jealousy slipped out, a little manipulation crept in, a little selfishness showed up when it was inconvenient for them? That's not an accident. That's divine exposure. That's life's way of pulling back the curtain so you can see the truth before you invest too much, before you lose too much. It's easy to be fooled when everything is going well. It's easy to believe words when they're dripping with charm and charisma. But true character isn't revealed in the sunshine. It's revealed in the storm. Watch what happens when you succeed. Watch what happens when you set boundaries. Watch what happens when you say no. That's when real motives come to the surface. Delay is often the tool that exposes deception. Give it time. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force anything. People can only fake it for so long. Eventually, what's inside will come out. The envy, the competition, the resentment, the selfish ambition. It all starts leaking through the cracks. And when you see, don't second guess yourself. Don't minimize it. Don't excuse it away. The moment motives are revealed, that's your signal. That's your sign that you're being shown the truth. Not to hurt you, but to help you. Not to wound you, but to warn you. Because hear me, you can't afford to walk into your future carrying people who are secretly working against you. You can't afford to build your destiny on connections that are rooted in competition, not covenant. You can't afford to confuse loyalty with convenience. When hidden motives rise up, it's your opportunity to separate wisely, to move quietly, to protect what's sacred about your life. You don't have to cause a scene. You don't have to prove your point. You just have to recognize what you're seeing and act accordingly. And the beauty of it is once you start seeing clearly, you start living clearly, you start making decisions not out of desperation, but out of discernment. You stop clinging to what's familiar, and you start reaching for what's fruitful. Now some of you are thinking, what if separation isn't enough? What if life starts pulling me into isolation, even when I don't understand why? Good, because the next sign of divine protection is when you find yourself pulled away, not to punish you but to preserve you. Stay with me. It's about to get real. Sometimes, the most confusing, most painful, yet most powerful thing that can happen is isolation. Suddenly, you find yourself pulled away, pulled from familiar people, pulled from comfortable places, pulled from situations you thought you couldn't live without, and you're left standing there wondering, what happened? What did I do wrong? But what if I told you, it's not punishment, it's preservation. You're not being abandoned, you're being protected. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. You see, sometimes separation is necessary, not because the people were always bad, but because where you're going requires a different version of you, a stronger you, a wiser you, a more focused you. Isolation feels lonely, but it's actually preparation. It feels cruel, but it's actually strategic. Because when destiny is pulling you higher, not everyone can go with you. Not everyone can handle your next level. Not everyone is equipped to steward the vision that's being birthed inside of you. Have you noticed when life is about to shift, conversations dry up, invitations stop coming, people you thought would be with you forever start fading into the background? It's not personal, it's positioning. You're being hidden on purpose. You're being preserved from distractions you can't afford, from sabotage you can't see, from relationships that would delay you longer than you know. And here's the thing. If you try to force connection in a season of separation, you'll only delay your own breakthrough. You'll frustrate your own growth. You'll chain yourself to people, places, and patterns that no longer fit the assignment on your life. Isolation sharpens your vision. It clarifies your calling. It silences the noise, so you can finally hear what's really happening inside of you. You stop living to impress people, and you start living to impact purpose. You stop settling for safe, and you start reaching for significance. When you're isolated, it's not time to panic. It's time to prepare. It's time to build quietly, heal deeply, grow privately. Because when the season shifts, and it will, you'll come out of isolation stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable than ever before. The worst thing you can do is curse a season that was sent to protect you. Embrace the quiet. Embrace the pulling away. Embrace the stretching. Because what's waiting for you on the other side of isolation is bigger than anything you're leaving behind. Now, maybe you're asking yourself, but what happens when the people who once celebrated me suddenly start attacking me? Oh, you better lean in close, because the next sign is when unexpected opposition rises, and it's not there to destroy you, it's there to deliver you. Let's get into it. One of the most confusing moments in your journey is when people who once cheered for you suddenly turn against you. It doesn't make sense at first. You replay the conversations, you rethink the decisions, you wonder what you did wrong. But hear me. Not every attack is about what you did. Some attacks are about what you're about to do. Unexpected opposition is often a sign that you're getting too close to something dangerous, dangerous to the enemy of your destiny. You're stepping into new territory. You're breaking old cycles. You're shattering old limits. And not everybody, not even the people you thought loved you, can handle that kind of movement. When opposition rises without warning, when accusations come from places you never expected, when lies spread faster than truth, you're not being punished, you're being positioned, you're being sharpened, you're being prepared. Because opposition is a tool that pushes you out of comfort, a tool that tests what you believe about yourself, a tool that forces you to grow roots deeper than the storms coming against you. You ever notice growth rarely happens in applause? Growth happens in adversity. Destiny is not built in easy seasons. It's built when you're fighting tears, when you're standing alone, when you're misunderstood but still moving forward anyway. Opposition is not there to destroy you. It's there to expose you, to expose your strength, to expose your resilience, to expose your true calling. Sometimes opposition removes the people who can't go with you into the next chapter. Sometimes opposition reveals the places in you that still need healing, still need anchoring, still need strengthening. And listen closely. If you are always at peace with everyone, you might not be doing anything significant. When you start walking heavy in purpose, when you start unlocking hidden potential, when you start carrying influence that threatens comfort zones, resistance will find you. It's not a sign to retreat, it's a sign to rise. Every attack, every betrayal, every false accusation is secretly working for you, not against you. It's shaping your endurance. It's refining your focus. It's preparing you to lead, to last, and to launch into a future bigger than the one you prayed for. Opposition doesn't mean you're off track. It often means you're right on schedule. Don't waste your energy fighting battles that were only designed to reveal the battle you're really called to win. Now you might be wondering, after the attacks, after the isolation, after the hidden motives, how do I know I'm stepping into the right space? How do I recognize that I'm now aligned with my real destiny? Because when you start stepping into alignment, favor follows you without force, and that is where we're headed next. One of the most undeniable signs you're being protected is when favor starts following you without force. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to manipulate it. Things just begin to fall into place. Doors open that you didn't even knock on. Opportunities find you while you're still trying to figure out your next move. When you're aligned with your true path, favor becomes your new normal. It doesn't mean you won't have to work, but it means your work will be crowned with a grace you can't explain. It means things that were once hard start to flow. Conversations that used to be a struggle turn into divine connections. Things that seemed impossible start becoming your daily reality. You ever notice, when you're out of alignment, everything feels like a fight. Relationships are a battle. Progress feels forced. Every step feels like you're pushing a mountain up a hill. But when you're in alignment, favor fights for you. It paves the road in front of you. It clears the traffic around you. It accelerates the timeline over you. Favor is the fingerprint of destiny. It's confirmation that you're not where you used to be. It's proof that the separation, the isolation, the opposition, it was all setting you up, not setting you back. And here's something important. Favor doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes favor is a simple yes when you needed it most. Sometimes favor is the right person showing up at just the right time. Sometimes favor is peace when everyone around you is losing their minds. You can't fake favor, you can't force it, and you definitely can't fabricate it. It flows from obedience. It flows from authenticity. It flows from being willing to let go of what looked good, so you can grab hold of what is good. If you're fighting for every connection, forcing every opportunity, begging every door to open, stop and ask yourself, am I aligned, or am I attached to something that's not for me? Because when you're where you're supposed to be, favor won't make you strive. It will cause you to thrive. Favor will introduce you to people who will bless you without hidden agendas. Favor will place you in rooms your resume couldn't get you into. Favor will protect you from traps you didn't even know were set for you. And the beauty of favor is, it's not just about you, it's about everything attached to you. Your family, your vision, your legacy, they all benefit when you step into the favor designed for your life. Now you might be asking, if favor is flowing, how do I make sure I don't sabotage it? How do I keep growing without falling back into old traps? Good question, because the next sign is learning how to discern the difference between seasonal people and lifetime destiny connection. Let's keep moving forward. When you're moving through life, not every person who enters your circle is meant to stay there. Some people are seasonal. They show up for a moment, a season, to teach you something, to take you somewhere, or to help you grow through a challenge. But as time moves forward, their purpose in your life comes to an end, and that's where discernment becomes crucial. You ever had someone in your life who felt right at the beginning? They seemed like they were going to be there forever. They supported you, they encouraged you, and they played their part in your journey. But then over time, something shifted. The conversation started to feel forced. The energy began to feel heavy. The connection started to feel more like a burden than a blessing. That's life showing you the difference between seasonal people and those who are meant to stay. Seasonal people can't go with you into the next chapter of your life. Their assignment in your story has been fulfilled, and it's time to let go, not because they're bad people, but because the season has changed. You see, when you're aligned with your purpose, when you're walking in your destiny, you'll naturally begin to attract the right people, and the ones who were meant for a season will naturally begin to fade. Don't fight that fading. Don't try to pull them back. Let them go. Honor the role they played in your life, but recognize when it's time to release them. Not every friendship, not every relationship, not every connection is meant to last forever. Some people are just passing through to teach you what you need to learn in that moment. And the moment you learn the lesson, the relationship naturally runs its course. Let me tell you, it's tempting to hold on to what's comfortable, to keep the people who made you feel safe, who made you feel accepted. But comfort zones will never get you to your destiny. If you stay where it's comfortable, you will never experience the greatness that's waiting for you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is let go of what feels familiar, so you can step into what's calling you. As you grow, you'll find that your inner circle naturally narrows, not because you're becoming exclusive, but because you're becoming discerning. You're becoming selective about who gets access to your time, your energy, and your future. When you start walking in your purpose, only those who are aligned with your destiny will be able to walk alongside you. It doesn't mean you have to cut people off in a dramatic way. It doesn't mean you need to have a confrontation. It just means you stop giving your energy to relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. You create space for the right people, the ones who are meant to grow with you, the ones who are destined to walk with you into your future. And as you begin to discern the difference between seasonal people and lifetime connections, you might start to realize that some relationships are fading for a reason. But how do you know when the timing is truly right to let go, to cut ties, or to step away? The next sign might give you the clarity you need to make that move. Let's dive deeper. The final sign that God is trying to protect you is when you begin to realize that what you once thought was a setback was actually a setup. You look back and see that the things you fought against, the doors that closed in your face, the opportunities that slipped away, those were not obstacles keeping you from success. They were redirects. They were positioning you for something greater. We all face setbacks. We all have moments when we think everything is falling apart. But let me tell you, what seems like a loss in the moment often turns out to be a gain in the future. What feels like rejection often turns into redirect. You thought you were being delayed, but in reality, you were being directed. Have you ever noticed that the best things in life don't come easily? The most valuable things in life are often the ones that take time, that require patience, that demand resilience. When a door closes, it's not the end of your journey. It's a signal that something better is ahead. But you have to be willing to trust the process. And here's the thing, you won't always understand the why in the moment. You won't always see the purpose behind the pain right away. But trust me, if you stay the course, if you keep moving forward, you'll look back and understand that those setbacks were just stepping stones to something more significant. The struggle is part of the story. The frustration is part of the formation. Every detour, every delay, every challenge you face is helping you become the person you're meant to be. It's strengthening your character. It's sharpening your vision. It's preparing you for the success that's coming. You don't need to understand everything right now. The things that hurt you in one season may very well heal you in the next. It's all part of the greater plan, the plan that was designed for you long before you were born. When you walk through life with this perspective, you begin to see that every twist and turn, every setback, is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It's all part of your protection. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like things aren't happening as fast as you hoped, remember, you're not being punished, you're being prepared. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, and when the time is right, you'll see that everything you went through was part of God's protection, part of God's plan to launch you into something greater. But remember, it all comes down to this: trust the timing, trust the process, trust that the delays you faced, the closed doors, and the disappointments were simply part of the divine strategy. You were never delayed, you were redirected. And now, as you begin to step into your future, one last question remains. Are you ready for what's next? The journey is just beginning. With this conclusion, your audience is left with anticipation. Would you like any further modifications, or to wrap up with a final closing message?